Hello, and welcome to Cyber Sidekicks, the weekly cybersecurity podcast hosted by Richmond Advisory Group's principal analyst, namely me, Christina Richmond.
And me, Rory Duncan. This podcast is your go-to partner for understanding the cybersecurity market, industry trends, and the real-world challenges of protecting organizations today.
So, Rory, you were just in Budapest.
Yes, I was.
Tell us a little something about this, yes.
Yeah, so we went there for my wife's birthday and for Mother's Day, kind of combined. She often has her birthday on the same day as Mother's Day or sometimes the same day as Easter, so it kind of dilutes it in a way. So we wanted to make sure that, she was going to get a special trip.
Nice.
So we went for 3 days, just a very rainy Budapest. It seems to kind of suit the kind of grey, hulking architecture that they have there. There's a lot of the old buildings. It makes it look like a mixture of kind of Paris and Prague and Vienna, of that era. But then there's also an awful lot of Soviet architecture from that time when they were a part of that particular regime. So you had this kind of very imposing large statues and big buildings, but also open areas. And we went to a number of the thermal baths that were there. So my wife is like half mermaid anyway. So for her, it was a natural thing to do, right? So we'd always read about them and, what could we do? Could we go there for a short break or whatever? So, yeah, we went to two of the main thermal baths there. Highly recommend them. You're sitting outside, even though it's kind of cool spring day, you're sitting outside up to your neck in body temperature water, which is lovely. Lovely.
So it's not overly hot. It's really just body temperature.
Yeah, exactly. There was one that was maybe a few degrees higher than body temperature, and boy, do you feel it. It was like going in a hot bath, and I was sort of starting to sweat and so on. So I got out quickly. Luckily, they have these little water spouts everywhere you can drink the water. So that was lovely. Thank you for asking. And we had some great food as well. Lots of Hungarian stews and goulashes and all sorts of things.
And some good beer, I would imagine.
Yeah, I was kind of careful about that. There was some nice beer, good Hungarian beer, but also beer from the Czech Republic, as well as one beer called Edelweiss, which was from Austria, actually.
Yeah.
And I thought, Sound of Music, which coincidentally is now celebrating its 60th year since it was made.
It is indeed. Just a side note on that, I've been to the castle they show from the outside. It is the Schloss Leopoldskron in Salzburg, Austria. And my sisters and my parents lived there in the 50s. It is a think tank. Yes, it is a think tank. And my father worked there. So, I've been to visit. I didn't get to live there. But it is a beautiful property, where they show the pond with the lions, the statue of the lions. And all of that outside part of it is from the Schloss Leopoldskron in Salzburg. The inside of the house, it's a different house. But I did get to go visit the Schloss Leopoldskron. So fun. You had Hungarian stews, Edelweiss beer, some wonderful thermal baths, and the pictures were gorgeous. And I really hope to get to Budapest one day. And, that actually leads us to our next little bit, because we would like to hear from people if they have gone to Budapest, wouldn't we?
Yes, we would. And even though the segue was valid, maybe we could hear also, aside from your visits to Budapest or wherever, anything else you might like to leave a message with us about.
Yes, probably relevant to the podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah,
something tech-related. So we have the ability now that you can leave us a voicemail with your feedback, comments, suggestions, and that kind of thing. As long as they're not too spicy, right? A little bit of spice is okay. We don't want too
spicy. Be kind, folks. We believe in kindness.
Exactly. And, feedback, suggestions. We're always happy to take complaints, of course, but the complaints department is open between 9 a.m. and 9:01 a.m.
And is that UK time, or is that? I guess we'll leave it.
Yeah, UK time. But also importantly for the dates, it's on every February the 29th only. So that's every leap year. And then we will carefully review what you've got to say. So this is through speakpipe.com cyber_underscore sidekicks. So that's again, speakpipe.com/cyber_sidekicks. And I'll leave a link in the show notes. Now, you can't ramble on for too long, not because we don't want you to, sometimes that's quite good, but it'll cut you off after 90 seconds. So 90 seconds is all you've got. Please leave us a voice message, and for the best ones or the most interesting ones, we'll play on the show.
That'll be fun. We really do want to hear from you. And it can be about Budapest. It can be about the Schloss Leopoldskron. But actually, I'd love to hear if you can pronounce Schloss Leopoldskron. But it can, and please do make it about tech, about cybersecurity, and about the podcast. And we do want to hear from you. Thanks, Rory. That's excellent. I'm so glad you set that up.
Yeah, great. No problem. Some news then, Christina. I think it's been a little while since we did some news.
Has it been? Yeah, I don't... when did we last do the news? Maybe a few episodes back. Oh, and let me say, congratulations to us. We have made it to double-digit episode number 10. Anyway, I just had to throw that in there. But yes, let's do the news.
Yeah. No. That's worth reminding us about, because I think getting to 8 was the issue. Most don't really get beyond 8. But if you get podcast past 8, then you're in a kind of minority. So here we are. And
here we are.
Yeah, which means it's all downhill from here.
And we're having fun, whether it's downhill or uphill.
That's right.
So what's in the news? What did you find, Rory?
Well, a couple of things. The first one was a warning from Microsoft, and they were talking about this new Stillaci rat malware, i.e. there's a rat looking to steal your crypto. So Microsoft...
No.
Yes, indeed. So this was in Security Week, and Microsoft saying this Stillaci rat malware is an evasive and persistent piece of malware that enables cyber criminals to steal sensitive data from compromised systems. That's not unique in itself, but Microsoft points to the fact that it has potential multiple entry points for this malware, is Trojanized software, malicious websites, and email. And once in, Microsoft explains that it scans the system for configuration data associated with 20 different cryptocurrency wallet Chrome extensions. So it's looking for specific things. Yeah, exactly.
It's looking for your crypto in your Chrome extensions.
So it extracts the usernames and passwords stored in Chrome, and then continuously monitors clipboard content for valuable information such as credentials and cryptocurrency keys. So, that's not good.
It's not good. And I'll point out, you say malware, I say malware, I say potato, you might say potato.
We say tatties.
Tatties. Okay. Well, it's an interesting new malware in my vernacular. And it brings me back to a couple of things. One is password managers. When they're good, and they really work. I'm worried that the Chrome password storage is vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yikes. I use another one that I actually pay for, and it is encrypted even to the service provider. They cannot see any of my passwords without my vault key, which is a key in addition to my password. And I store the physical piece of paper with the vault key in my safe in my house. So there's no way for my password manager to get at my passwords, which means if they are hacked, the hacker cannot get my passwords. So I'm a little bit saddened to see that Chrome is vulnerable. Almost a shame on them comment, because we should do better. So, guys, let's clean that up. Very worried about that. And just a shout out to those who are maybe newer to cybersecurity, changing your passwords, having unique passwords, having long passwords, those 3 things really do work. And multi-factor authentication really does work as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No more ABCD 1, 2, 3, 4 or anything like that. We don't want that.
Is anyone still doing that out there? Really? Folks, leave us a message. If you are, we won't shame you. We'll call you back and say, can we help you? Because really, it is something very important.
Yeah. No, that's a very sage piece of advice there. So that's a new warning if you have crypto and use Chrome. The second piece of news that I saw today, again from Security Week, just another great article from them, and I'm reporting on a research team at Clarity found that there were some issues with vulnerabilities in legacy medical devices.
Sure.
The fact that they're quite easy targets for ransomware. So that's legacy medical devices. And this group of researchers found vulnerabilities in over 2 million IOMT, so that's medical, IOMT devices, and more than 640,000 OT devices across 351 healthcare organizations. This vulnerability is about publicly available exploits, that is, vulnerabilities included in CISA's KEV list or KEV list. And 20% of hospital informations contain those and linked to ransomware and are insecurely connected to the internet. So that's a shame, because obviously medical devices being, essential pieces of equipment.
Yeah, it is a shame. And it's not a surprise, Rory, not at all. The medical establishment, the industry, has been trying to play catch up for a long time, ever since they were hit with ransomware 8 years ago, something like that. I'm probably not right about my dates, but they were really shocked when they were found to be so vulnerable. And it was a life and death situation. So they really had to start putting more budget towards finding ways to secure themselves against ransomware. Unfortunately, what happens when you're in the middle of ransomware is you either pay, right? Or you get your insurance provider to pay because you have lives at stake. And then that money is used for that, and you don't have the money to go back to all those legacy systems, swap them out, refresh them, or update them with better hygiene in these cases, right? You don't necessarily do the important work that needs to be done because you lack the time and budget. I will, as an aside, say that with ransomware, many medical establishments have gotten to the point where they have figured out not to have all of their data in a centralized location on the network. They are backing up their data to an off-network site so that their data is not available or ransomable, or if it is, they can get a backup set of data spun up pretty quickly. But these devices are specific vulnerabilities that have to be cleaned up. And I've been doing some research, I told you, Rory, about in AI. And one of the things that, of course, AI is now able to do for the malicious actors is to do the deep fakes of your image, your face, and also your voice from just a snippet. So they could listen to us on this recording. I hope I'm not inviting disaster. And deep fake our voice, get our images off the website, and put those together and contact our health providers, the NHS in your case, and my private healthcare over here. And then they could get into our medical files. Now, why would they want to? Well, they may want to get medicines, that they can get because maybe I need a particular medicine and they discover in my file that that's a medicine they would like to sell on the black market. So identity theft through deep faking with AI is another piece that is relevant to the medical industry.
Yeah. Well, full disclosure here, I'm less worried about, let's say, faking of my voice, because actually this isn't my real voice.
Yes, we're both changing our voices for the podcast.
That's right.
Good one, Rory.
Yeah, we'll be like that movie where the phone rings and you hear that voice, and you have to follow what it says. Was it Simon Says or something, I think, with the voice. So yeah, feel free. Although interestingly, I'm registered on voices.com, which is the the voice talent site, where you pitch for work if somebody needs a voiceover for something. Now, those sites are becoming used more and more for companies who ask you to read something random for a couple of hours or 20, 30 minutes. We'll pay you, $100. And then we'll use your voice and recreate it as an AI. And there's some very good examples where people have done this on the basis of thinking it was for a real advert or for, from some kind of show or something. And then lo and behold, they found YouTube videos where their voices are being used to do the voiceover for whatever, products there are. So that is definitely a thing. So I don't really do that at all anymore, unfortunately, because it's too much of a risk.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Huh.
Anyway, so there we go. So this week's special guest is Sarayu Nayar, the founder and CEO of Gurukul. Welcome to the show, Sarayu.
Thank you for having me, Rory.
I know that you found a quiet place in the lounge at an airport, so thanks for doing that. We always appreciate it when guests make an effort to join and have a chat with us. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about Gurukul, how you founded it, what kind of things that motivated you to start the company, and then where you're focused on these days and what you see happening in the cyber industry in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a pleasure. So Gurukul has been around for a little over 14 years now. We have been founded in the principles of data science and helping security teams really tackle with large amounts of data and solve the problem of alert fatigue, of not having enough budget, not having enough people to really triage thousands of alerts that the security teams have been getting. So we founded the company to be very focused on the data science part of the house. We've been working on AI part of it for a very long time as well. And now that it's so mainstream, it's just perfect timing for us to, for customers to take advantage of all of our innovation around AI and machine learning, behavior analytics that we have worked on. We pioneered the UEBA space, user entity behavior analytics, and that is a unique way to build in context for security teams using user and entity as the context for seeing all of their data together and doing behavior profiling and really helping find risky anomalous behaviors. So not just the known knowns or known unknowns, but also the unknown unknowns. So that is what we pioneered in the space to start with. And, it's been an amazing journey. We continue to focus on the vision of unifying data and security analytics and got very excited about the next gen SIM market about 8 years ago and started building what we really called a self-driving security analytics platform or a SIM solution for the security operations.
And what have you found has changed? I mean, you mentioned yourself, you've been doing this for a while. You've obviously been adapting and learning as you go, looking at how requirements have changed. You talked about next-gen SIM there. What have you found has changed in terms of the requirements or the needs from your clients? And where do you think it's going?
That's a great question, Rory. Big transformation happening in the SIM market. So we've seen this journey with some very big pivotal milestone moments in there. So, historically, SIM became all about log aggregation, right? So that it was a place where enterprises would collect logs. Then it became about threat hunting on those logs and searching on those logs. So it became a, big religious move in some ways and a cult following to learn different languages based on the SIM solution you were using to be able to search on that data. And it took a long time to learn the SIM language and really use that to find threats, right? So there was a big thing. And a lot of time companies would spend really figuring out how to scale up the infrastructure because you would, it would be a lot of data, you would run out of infrastructure, then how do you scale it up? What do you take off your system so you can create capacity for things you really needed? So a lot of that was happening. When we came in with the cloud native solution, we first and foremost took away this infrastructure problem, right? And that is a big change in the space as well to really get to more of a cloud native solution or a system that can run on any cloud or any data lake, right? So giving enterprises that independence to build their own data lake, and that data lake could be on-prem, could be on cloud, or using vendors like our data lake, our cloud, again, agnostic of where they want their data to be. And as you see some large global organizations, there are many rules in different countries where data can't leave the nation. So the flexibility of being able to run on, cloud providers in region and cloud providers with data not leaving, setting up high availability that way, or even running on regional providers became very important in this transit, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. You mentioned there, it does come up in a lot of the research we do, particularly when you go outside of the US. Often we forget that it's not just about the technology, it's also about the sovereignty and where that data is stored. Do you find that this is an increasing requirement, regulatory as well as sovereignty requirements for storing of data?
Absolutely. It's a must. It's table stakes. You have to have it. If you want to run a global operations with this, you have to have it. Companies in different parts of the world work very differently. Like we have a big presence in EMEA, and GDPR in Europe is a big deal. Rules in Saudi are very different than rules in UAE. Even with our APAC presence, we see many different rules, governments in different countries working differently. In fact, even our own federal government right now, there is more acceptance of cloud, but there is still a big on-prem presence, and a need to just run it on Gov Cloud or what have you is important. So definitely, it's a very important thing.
Behind a lot of this, and certainly you talk a lot about this when you look at your solutions and how you bring your product to market, most companies have some kind of an, quote, AI story to tell these days. Some of it is understandable because there's so much discussion about it, so much investment. But obviously there's AI and then there's AI, right? There is generative AI, there is machine learning, and there is automation. Where do those three parts play in terms of what you guys are doing, and how do you approach this from from telling a story to your customers?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, you're absolutely spot on there, or everybody's talking about AI, right? But for us, we are very focused on really understanding our user personas and their journey and how they can benefit from AI, giving tangible results from it, right? So we have a big focus on Gen as well as agentic AI, right? So we do a lot around that. And the way we are leveraging AI is in that entire journey. From first step, we have Data Optimizer, which is our data pipeline management capability, which helps figure out what data needs to be collected and, first of all, get all the data, understand the data, a live stream of data, understand what it is, and also understand what needs to go into your SIM for real-time threat detection and response, and what needs to still stay there for compliance, but not have to increase your SIM bill, right? So it helps you reduce the cost, that agentic AI capability on data collection. Then next step is, once the data is collected, it's the correlation, it's the link analysis. We use a lot of machine learning algorithms in that process. We've been doing this for over a decade. Very prescriptive, fine-tuned, purpose-built machine learning that runs on this data to build the right context. And then thousands of detections and models that run on this data to find real-time threat, right? So that's the next. The next thing, which I would say is the biggest value from an AI perspective for security operations, is making the analyst experience better, reducing the time that's being spent, and also reducing the number of analysts needed to at least get to the level 1 triage, right? So with agentic AI and some of the innovations which we have recently released, we're able to cut down the analyst time by 87% for tier 1 triage, right? So level 1. And the system would look at the alert, look at the previous behaviors of responses and what response it should have. It would go in the system and do an auto triage from a level 1 perspective. So now you are saving your analyst time for more level 2 and level 3. And I think that is one of the biggest advantages of AI in that response capability. Next thing for that analyst journey is when they're triaging a case, the agentic AI gives them capability of very quickly being able to see why is this alert there and why are you saying I need to look into this, right? So it gives you that intelligence on your fingertips in on the same screen. So it saves significant time. And it also gives you intelligence on things that analysts usually do after, spending hours on it. Like, what are the other things that happen to this entity or asset? Who are the others who are impacted by this? So it gives you that impact radius and powerful AI insight. Now we call our AI engine SME, SME, very affectionately. That's our AI assist as well. So SME is always there to answer any questions from a natural language search perspective or just asking any questions. So that also enhances the overall experience. So I would say right now for us, the whole platform has AI kind of layered on top of it and at the heart of it to really change that experience that on how users engage and the value they get. Starting from the first time they log in, it personalizes the experience to the user. Also, every time they log in, it gives them powerful AI insights. Hey, these are 5 things you need to know which are most important in the platform now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for that. There's obviously areas where you would stop or you would reduce perhaps your reliance on AI, or places you wouldn't go. How much is the automation then putting more emphasis on the human aspect, perhaps at those level 2 and level 3 technicians? Do you still have that acknowledgement that AI is AI, but the human aspect is still the kind of ultimate arbiter of many of these?
Absolutely. Absolutely, right? We are saying, our vision is to really help the SOC teams, right? We want to help the security organizations have the limited resources they have, focus on things which are most risky, right? So we also have a patented risk scoring. We want the analyst time to be used wisely. And there is a lot of time, they would often talk about with old generation solutions having 90% false positives and spending so much time on them that you often miss a needle in the stack of needles even, right? So those are the problems we're trying to solve. Analysts are always going to be important. The human factor is the most important. Whatever can be automated with AI to make better use of their time, those are the use cases we are focusing on. We're focusing on AI from a use case perspective, like what's the value, what's the ROI, right? And that's how we take it to our customers as well. Here is a use case we've delivered, here is the value, and let them see it as well. And we've done many ROI studies already to see some, massive return on investment for our customers.
Yeah, thank you so much, Saryu, for joining. Thank you for also staying online with our technical glitches, but hoping you were in a comfortable lounge at the airport. So thanks again for staying on and for bearing with us.
Thank you, Rory. It was a pleasure being here.
So, hey, Rory, that was a great interview with Saryu. I'm so sorry I missed it. I had some technical difficulties and couldn't be on, but I'm really excited that it went so well. And I know she was very articulate and interesting. So thank you so much for that.
Sure.
We are trying to figure out a new podcasting platform so that we don't have these issues. But in the meantime, let's talk our favorite topic once again, RSA. Yes, it's our regular reminder and to meet with us. Yes, not at the dumpster on the corner of Howard and what have you, or Mission and Force, but the regular dumpster meeting. And we're joking, of course. We have meetings set up all over the city. We'll be walking. Get ready, Rory, 10 to 14,000 steps in a day. So wear your tennies. Make sure.
Yeah, I will not be wearing my dress shoes, that's for sure.
No, it's very informal. We'll be in jeans and tennies and whatever's comfortable.
Oh.
And yes, we'll be there April 28th to May 1st at the Moscone Center in San Francisco. We'll be chatting with folks for the podcast, probably both audio and some video. And so reach out if you'd like to meet with us. Our calendar is pretty full. I will tell you, we have some time on Thursday. And I know a lot of people leave by Thursday, but we are booked up. But please do reach out, because even if we can't meet at the Moscone or around the Moscone, we can book a briefing for afterwards. So please We're always happy to chat to vendors and newcomers and cybersecurity practitioners as well. So please join us at RSA. We're looking forward to bumping into you at the Yerba Buena Gardens or on the street or by the dumpster.
Yeah, great. Thanks for that. We're always happy to hear any interest that you have in meeting us, buying us coffee or dinner, breakfast, lunch, snack, second
putting
breakfast.
money in our tip jar. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So thanks for that.
All right, folks. Well, that's a wrap for this week. And we'll say so long, farewell. And for those of you who are not sure of the reference, we talked about The Sound of Music. And meanwhile, these are your hosts, Rory Duncan and Christina, saying thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, indeed. Auf Wiedersehen. Good night.
Auf Wiedersehen. Good night.
Adieu to you and you and you.
And you and you and you.
Indeed.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.